It's not the things inside my head that keep me going. Don't need someone to throw me money, they should show it. Keep chasing shadows, they're always haunting me, but I believe in something bigger, bigger than me. Bigger than me. Oh, bigger than me.
Pressure's on. Got 2 cameras on now. Here we go. Warm it up.
Alright. Alright, so ABW Fridays, we are back. Vlogging once again, Eddie and myself. Today, crushing some shoulders. We're starting this workout off with Pathogen from Massive Joe's. Check it out on this link right here. Now today, we're going to be crushing some compound movements, isolated movements, and everything else in between. And don't forget, you guys haven't seen, but we've got a little person that's joined the ABW army. Her name's Remy. Is it a boy or a girl?
Girl.
It's a girl. Check it out, how cute she is.
Look at your little teeth. Look at your teeth. Arrgh. They're so clean. Alright guys, so we were just about to kick off our training session. The ABW TFM collabs are back. We're going to be crushing shoulders today. So we're going to be giving you guys as much detail throughout this workout as possible. Make sure you follow along the tips and screenshot the workout at the very end of the video so that you guys can give it a go in your own time. I've already had my pre-workout, so I had 2 scoops of glycogen carb powder, creatine, and a scoop of Pathogen, which is the pre-workout that I've been hitting this week. So Nate's just getting ready. I'm going to put my singlet on and then we're going to get started.
About how fine you are, you're dressed to impress, make a man wanna turn.
Alright, Active Fam, we are back. ABW TFM vlogging weekly training, starting off this workout with shoulders. Now today we're going to do something a little bit different to what we usually do. As you guys know, we've been targeting the rear part of our side delt, the rear delt, and focus on the back part of the shoulder to try and create that swoop. After a period of doing that, we found that the interior part of Eddie's shoulders and my shoulders are becoming a little bit underdeveloped. So we're going to do something a little bit different today, starting off with the ABW TFM examination technique so you guys can see right to the intricate detail of what we're doing. Alright, so as you can see here from this perfect angle right now where Eddie's nice and cold, this part here is extremely developed, which it wasn't like that about 1.5 years ago, but it now is. So today we're going to start with the warm up for this part of our shoulder here, just to stabilize the muscle. So understand, if we're doing any interior pushing, whether it be chest movements or interior shoulders, we want to stabilize through the back of the shoulder, also this part of the back here, prior to any moving with this point in the shoulder. So this part is stabilized. So we're going to start with doing a light movement with the cables, just put some blood in this area here. We're not going to fatigue it too much, we're just going to start that nice and light. Then we're going to go in today and do a lot of interior movements. We're going to do some dumbbell pressing, we're going to do some Smith machine pressing, some front raise pressing, fatigue, this whole entire part of the shoulder first, and then we're going to go backwards. Now, for you guys, what you guys want to do is always work the part of your shoulder that's the weakest first and the strongest last. We're doing something that most people don't do because what we have is opposite. First exercise today, like usual, is going to be the crucifix row. What we're doing different today compared to regular workouts is we're not going to fatigue ourselves too much on this first exercise like we usually would. We're going to go nice and slow, get the blood into the area, stabilize the shoulder from the back, and then start fatiguing our shoulder from the front with some interior movements like pressing and front raising.
Alright guys, here we go, we're getting started. So like Nathan said just before, we're going to be starting with the crucifix row, but we're not going to be fatiguing ourselves too much on this exercise. It's more of a warm-up, and we're going to be doing some pretty heavy presses a little bit later. And we want to just update you guys on basically what we've been doing over the last couple of months. So I know we've taken a little bit of time off training, off filming, but we've still been training hard and we've still been working really hard. So I've been working on my brand a little bit more, been focusing on the ABW clothing, and Nate's been really working on his coaches as well, trying to bring up his PT business. But we've been setting some new goals for this year. Coming into 2019, we've basically decided that as Nathan starts prepping for his next show, which is going to be the Chicago Pro, we're actually going to start filming and documenting everything on the vlogs. So the ABW ActiveFam channel will be the only place that you'll be able to see this footage, and we're going to try and get the most raw footage possible. So we're going to show you guys exactly what a pro level bodybuilder has to go through in terms of not only the bodybuilding side of things, but the psychological side of things. So the demands of what a bodybuilding show will draw on someone and the day-to-day mentality of what you have to go through. Now, dieting, obviously, a lot of people that compete, they've gone through it. They know exactly how it feels. You guys might have done shows before, you know how it gets really hard towards the end, but we want to show you a lot more than just the dieting phase. We want to show you guys a little bit more of what it takes to be at that really elite level. Oh, here comes trouble.
Yeah, that's it, you know. Come to Papa. Come to me. Right on the tongue.
Alright guys, so without dragging this last little bit of the intro on too long, basically what me and Nathan have decided to do is that Nathan's actually going to be prepping for this show. So he's going to be training flat stick at 100% intensity. So I'm actually going to film him and document the last 14 weeks of his prep, and then I'm going to train separately in that last 14 weeks, but we're still going to be doing a lot of collab work together. So it's going to be very raw footage, and then I'm going to edit it up so that you guys can get a very deep insight to what's going on rather than us just filming our usual vlogs. So today's workout is going to be a little bit more casual though. We're going to give you as many tips as possible like I said earlier, so sit back and enjoy this video.
So we've got Eddie pumping out a big set here, and we've got Milo down there. Oh wait, Remy. Just sleeping on Eddie's foot. Mid-set.
Go for a little nap. Remy, go nap.
You want to bite the camera, huh? You want to bite the camera? You want to taste this? Remy. Milo. Get a bit. So coming into the Chicago Pro 2019 myself, my approach this year is going to be aesthetics, condition and proportion. As I'm not the biggest bodybuilder out there, I'm not going to win on size. So what I'm going to do is get as lean as I possibly can be as balanced as I can, and be as proportionate as I can from top to bottom and left to right. Not only am I doing the Chicago Pro, I'm going to do the Vancouver Pro a week later, and if I win one of those shows, hopefully I'll qualify for Olympia about a month after that. There's a good angle right there.
Old walls that I built for you, just to dig me out with silver spoons. No, I did.
One thing I want you guys to understand is you can see Eddie's wrist position right now. They're in a neutral position. I don't want you guys to have a dumbbell too straight, otherwise it's going to put pressure on the wrong part of your shoulder. You guys want to press neutrally where it's comfortable, as heavy as you possibly can, for about 10 reps. Alright, so in regards to my food, a little bit about what I'm doing right now, being 22 weeks out, I like to take the approach of substituting. So in the off season, I eat a lot of food, a lot of calories I probably shouldn't eat because I like to relax and enjoy a little bit. So what I'm doing now, not so much actual dieting, I'm just substituting things like connoisseur with Nutella ice cream for some sort of low calorie ice cream option like Halo Top. I don't go from 0 to 100 when I start my dieting process because the drop in blood sugar regulation levels is too dramatic. I mean, I crave too much, I'm gonna go backwards and forwards in yo-yo diet. I substitute foods for foods, drop my calories gradually, and that's how I start my prep. 10 reps, that's it. 2. Less. 3. 4. 5. 6. 4 more. 7. Every rep, 3 more. 8. You got 2 more, babe. I'm right here when you need. Ready? I'm gonna help these ones. 9. Just a little bit, just there. 1 more, Nick. Just I'm taking a little bit. There we go. Easy. When you spot someone, don't take all the weight. When you guys are spotting someone, you can feel where they're fatiguing, where they're failing, and the whole idea of the movement is to just push them past that little bit, not the entire movement. Steady. Don't let that first rep psych you out.
Oh, first time ever pushing the 50s.
Hit me, baby, one more time.
Inside, hit me, baby, one more time.
Oh, yeah. Right. I'm just stabilizing this weight. I'm not taking weight. I'm just stabilizing. Come on, baby, I got ya. 3. I got you. 4. Come on, last couple. I'm right here. Come on, 3 more. 3. 2 more. 1 more. First one's always the hardest. Don't ever let the pressure of the first rep suck you out for the whole set. Because once you get started, it gets easier as you go. Alright, here we go. 10 reps.
Yes. Keep tight, keep tight. Alright guys, we're moving on to doing a Smith machine military press, and we put 2 bands on each side. Now realize when you go up on the weight and you've got a band on either side, especially when you've got 2 bands, every kilo that you put on there, it's like putting 2 or 3 kilos on, because the higher you push up, obviously the band stretches out and the harder it gets. So if you suss out our little setup here, we started with just the 10 and the 2 bands. Now I'm only going to put a 5 on each side, and then every set we'll just go a little bit heavier and then a little bit heavier, and we'll just dictate how hard it's going to be based on that set. Shoot for about yeah,
Wrap it up. Yeah, I was waiting for that. Like, he wants to wrap this shit up, but he can't. He can't work out how to wrap it up.
Okay, go film.
I'm going to wrap this up for it. Alright, so Eddie's going to just do a set now. He's lost all his oxygen from talking. You knew what I was thinking.
Yeah, and then when I saw you laughing, it made me lose my train of thought even more. I was like, how am I going to wrap this
That's
up?
why I walked off that way, because I didn't want to laugh and ruin it. That's 1. Good to see how Eddie's controlling the eccentric phase, which is the way down. That there's the most anabolic phase in the movement. And from the bottom up, like Eddy said before, the higher you push, the harder it gets. That was proper true time failure. Now Eddy and I had this thing where when we're trying to explain to you guys how to perform a movement or how to articulate some sort of any principle in life that can be emotional, mental, whatever it may be, we get on a roll with explaining to you guys. We get so in depth on how to do the movement or the psychological approach to life that we don't know how to sum up the, like what's happening right now.
Stop there, bro.
I'm just gonna stop.
Just lift the weights.
I'm just gonna lift weights today.
Go. Alright guys, so we just finished up doing our presses. We went pretty heavy on the last 2 sets, so we didn't actually film it. Now we're going to move into doing all of our raises. So we're going to start with the front, then we'll move into doing the laterals, and then we'll just finish up with some rears.
guys doing front raises or any sort of raise, make sure from the bottom of the movement, right here, you grab the contraction the way up. A lot of people just get into the swing of momentum and they lose that contraction. From the bottom, initiate, engage front delt there. Engage front delt there. From the bottom, that front delt contracts the weight up, and then again levers the weight back down. 10 reps each arm, and the set is done. Remembering every set we do, we go progressively heavier each time. All right, one thing I want to teach you guys about comp prep, especially starting a workout off. Give me a second, my shoulder's hurting. God. All right, then one thing I wanted to teach you guys about a prep, when you're filming and you're sore, lean like that so you can hold the camera. All right, so in prep, the best way to train is we're gonna sacrifice that little bit of form to go that little bit heavier. Understand that a bigger weight is gonna create a bigger muscle, but more importantly, a bigger weight is gonna burn and expend more calories, and that's what prep's all about, expending calories, burning more than you're consuming to get into condition faster, get leaner faster, and then jump on stage and win. And just always remember, just because we're going heavier doesn't mean we're pushing it hard enough that we can possibly create an injury. So always make sure you articulate the movement correctly. It's just starting a prep off, the heavier the weight we move, the more calories we expend, the leaner we get. So we do slightly sacrifice form, making sure our spine is aligned the right way, and we can potentially not get an injury.
Alright, so this is Nathan's third set. We're literally just banging these out. Like I'm chucking the dumbbells back down on the rack, and then he's picking them up, and then he's going. We're only having literally like 60 seconds rest, and that's also how you get lean. You don't want to be rest until you're fully recovered, especially on small movements like raises. Bang it out! Bang it out! Yep. There you go. Alright, bang, look, I'm going to pass the camera on, and then I'm just going to go. Alright, so we're moving on to doing our rear delts now, and we're doing a bent over rear delt raise, and we're not going too high. Oh fuck, I don't even know what I was going to say then. Go. Let's go. We're moving a little bit more weight now, as you can see, so just think about pulling through that rear delt, bringing the elbows up as high as possible. Good. You go, rip it, rip it! Yeah. Okay, say something. Say something intelligent.
Articulate. Alright, so finishing the workout off now. We started today's workout off with a lot of compound movements, a lot of central nervous system training. And we're finishing off with high volume, superset, drop set, giant set, everything, minimal break. We're gonna work this shit out. Notice Eddy's elbows don't track backwards, as in this way. A lot of the time when you guys are doing this, the elbows track backwards because you guys are trying to use lats. So from the bottom, we initiate contraction of rear part of side delt and rear delt, and bring your elbow forward. Say something intelligent. Contractibility.
Contractibility.
Got it. All right, so last exercise, we're gonna do side raises now. I'm gonna show you guys something. I'm gonna critique Eddy's movement right now when it comes to developing that nice dense cap on top of Eddy's shoulders right there. So in a regular side raise, everyone starts in the front and then moves forward to the front. Just like that, a lot of the time the interior delt's gonna work in that movement and a little bit of the front part of the side delt. You guys wanna contract the rear part of the side delt, which will in turn create that nice big round shoulder from the top. What you need to do is bend forward like Eddy. Chest goes up to protect your spine. If your chest is down, your spine's opened up, which can create an injury. We don't wanna do that. Chest stays up, bend to the hip stays up. Eddy's gonna start here, come up diagonally but backwards slightly. Now what that's gonna do, naturally that already has resistance because we put a lot of work on the interior part of the shoulder to start the workout off. The shoulder's rolling that way. So when we start going backwards that way, we're creating resistance just through tight muscle. This muscle here is resisting. Now we add some weight, And we're going to maximize the development starting here, diagonally back that way, which will in turn target right up in here, that point right there, the closest part to this bone right here. When Eddie puts his arm down, put your arm down for a second, right there. And then from the front, look at me, Eddie, turn to me. That there is what creates that cap. Now watch this, ready? Watch Eddie's shoulder here, go again. Now, I'm gonna change that movement. So instead of like what we usually do, we put our thumbs down and pinkies up, target this. In a bent over position, when we're throwing backwards, we keep our hands straight, start to keep your elbow locked, and coming up diagonally like that, that's where it lands. The pressure's gonna go along his arm and hit here. I'm gonna show you the entire movement. Right there. See at the top there, it's a little bit wonky and it kind of wants to go forward. That's the natural resistance of his tight interior delt from the start of the workout. As you can see here, he's fatiguing really quickly, and that's just because we've articulated movement a certain way to make that rear part of the side delt where it originates grow. Perfect, you can just see that right there. Look at that. Right there, good. Last couple, bro. Perfect. I'm gonna show you a better angle. That was really good. How'd that feel?
That was really good. Like, I could actually feel that pinpointing right in there, all the way down, and that's only using 5 kilos.
Exactly right.
So sometimes, especially at the end of a workout, it's actually more beneficial to just drop the weight down and try and target the areas of your shoulders or whatever muscle that you're training. Bro, you're putting me on.
No, I'm just getting good angles.
Real close.
No, it's not that close, trust me. Alright, so once you guys find that spot where you can feel that blood pumping in the area you guys want to hit, just keep that momentum the same pace up, same pace down. We're not doing any explosive movements, we're not doing any crazy eccentric phase movements. We're just keeping that tempo the same up and down, and we're keeping that blood pumping to the area we're trying to target. Now, doesn't look like much, but when you get the blood in that area and you can just feel that blood pumping, if you don't let go, those reps keep building up more and more and more, that pain becomes excruciating. Now again, remember, the dumbbell's always going to want to pull forward, so from the bottom here, kick that weight back, but keep bent forward. Beautiful, bro. That's perfect, Eddie. Now, believe it or not, that last exercise is really complicated. Reason being is because when you guys are bent forward from the hip, at 1, 3 is the center of gravity, obviously you're not as balanced as you usually would be, and 2, we're trying to row the dumbbells back, but stay bent forward. Now that's a really hard thing to comprehend, because the 1, you got to stabilize, 2, you can't move your body, and 3, you got to articulate the movement and contract the right muscle. So you're thinking about 3 things in one movement, as well as keeping tempo the same, upwards and downwards, and keeping that blood pumping.
Oh yeah, real funny.